Well, hello guys, it's Sendou here again. So this video is just some idea I had in my head for a couple of days now, so I thought I'd finally get around doing it. So the point of this video is to talk a bit about blasters in Splatoon 2 and in general how they fit the metagame currently. So if you don't know, in Splatoon 1 I was something of a blaster main. I was one of the first people to actually main Luna Blaster, and I ended up playing that weapon for hundreds of hours. I also played a bunch of other blaster types like Custom Range Blaster and Rape Blaster. And in general, Splatoon 1 blasters were really much like a meta weapon. They were really strong. And there's been some changes in Splatoon 2, so I was thinking I'll just go over them really quick. And I'll tell you how I feel like each blaster is, where each blaster places in the current metagame. So I think just starting with the regular blaster to showcase some of the changes. So first of all, what do you have to know about blasters? That all of them like kill in one hit KO, right? That is that all the normal ones do. This one does. So damage wise, there hasn't been any changes to the blasters. As you can see, like 50 is the least you can do. No matter like how much you try, it's always at least 50 damage. So that means 2 hits should kill always. And there's no defense or anything to screw this up, so that's actually nice for blasters. So you don't have the defense coming up from nowhere and screwing up and making a 3-hit kill, which is often quite deadly for blasters. But one change they did, which is pretty weak one in my opinion, which is when you jump, you're no longer able to aim accurately. There's always RNG making your shot go either left or right. And this is changed from Splatoon 1, because in Splatoon 1, if you shot at the apex of your jump, you were able to hit your shot with 100% accuracy. So in this game, it is no longer possible. So if you want to jump with more evasion, like strafing, or like more range, if someone's above you, you try to reach him, you can no longer be guaranteed that you get the target you want. Like you see just now, it's strafed a bit off the target there. So instead you have to stay more on the ground. If you want to get targets, you have to like be more like more of in the ground. And this is like a pretty reasonable change in my opinion. But what it does mean is that every time you shoot, you get locked to a place. So you're very vulnerable, of course. Like if I 1v1 with this guy and miss the first shot, of course I'm like in a bad position then for him to punish me with some other weapon. So this is something you always have to keep in mind, is that you no longer can be guaranteed to get the target you want here. And this does like, I think this is a significant nerf to blasters in general. But to talk about this kit, I think it's a pretty like strong one for objective related play. I think Toxic Mist, they probably not as strong as some people were saying at the beginning, but it's still like very good for stopping that, especially Rainmaker pushes. I feel like there's some like choke points you can put that Toxic Mist on, so when the Rainmaker does come through it, they are forced to go slow and easier to kill. And yeah, Splashdown also huge on tower, for example. So again, like I think for objective related play, this kit is really strong. And if I had to place it currently, I think it's still like a very high tier weapon, but I don't think it's like among the very best weapons. So if you think about like a leather grading system, I would probably grade it somewhere around in the A rank. And just to move forward, let's actually go here. And the Sibling, which is Custom Blaster, which is very different from the Custom Blaster in Splatoon 1. This time has Auto Bomb, which I think is a very annoying sub-weapon to have, because think about those for snipers, like how hard it is for them to snipe if you keep throwing Auto Bombs like this. And in other cases too, I think Auto Bomb is very strong. I don't think people realize how strong it is at the moment. People say, yeah, it's easy to juke, like you just walk through it and it blows up. Well, yeah, it does, but that's still a lot of time wasted, so I think it's really good for making people work in your favor. So I think that fits the blaster pretty good. It's still not a splat bomb or something you can use to space out enemies. Like if I throw it like in front of me, it doesn't really like work same way as platform, for example, but it's still pretty strong. And special is of course Inkjet, which is probably like one of the 3 strongest specials in the game right now. It's kind of like Inksuga, but in a way even better, more destructive. Which is of course like huge killing potential, and especially if you get cool with this, you can place your whole playstyle basically around the Inkjet. It's a like insanely strong special. So I think again like really good kit, maybe more offensive versus the regular blaster being more suited for objective play. And I'd place this around the same tier honestly. Like it's still like a really strong weapon. Like okay, you can't necessarily hit your directs, but it's still like 2-hit KO, which is still like even if you jump around and get a 2-hit KO, that's still like really strong weapon. And to talk about my original main, it's the Luna Blaster again, back in the game. Very hated weapon, I dare to say. Something people like at all. So in this game, again, it's a bit changed. It has Splat Bomb like Luna Neo did, which is really nice for blasters. Like I can stress how nice it is to have the Splat Bomb for blasters. Like one very common strat for since Splatoon 1 is that when you jump in and you throw Splat Bomb at your feet, you're able to space your enemies. They can't really come next to you, because when you think about like where Luna's really weak is right next to enemies. It's really easy for me to miss my shots like this. Basically I don't hit the direct, instead I shoot like right beside them like this. So that's of course like something to keep in mind, that you have the Splat Bomb, that okay, I see the target there, well I throw a Splat Bomb, then I'm able to approach using the spacing the Splat Bomb gives me. So I think the sub weapon is again really strong. And special we have Baller, which is yeah, it's not exactly the high tier special we hoped for, but it's still, I dare to say, it's better fit for Luna than for many other weapons in the game. So think about what you want with Luna is that you want to get in. Like think about this guy's gonna shoot me, if I get spelled there I can just spawn up. Like that's not where to go. But instead I'm a bit more sneaky, I pop my Baller and I go in and blow up right away. I have this like ink around my feet right away to work with. That is already like a good ink control if I'm in like enemy plat or something, and I can do the Luna stuff like no aim and just blow them all up like this, like this, like this, like this. And I have my like ink control here for me to do my Luna thing. So I think Baller is the strongest on Luna, and I think it's a really good fit actually. So especially if they buff this, I can see this kit being really strong. And I also wanted to talk about something related to the actual weapon here, just real fast. I haven't seen much respawn Punisher yet, but I do think it would be something of a nice thing to try on Luna. So, and excuse me about the dog bark in the background. But if you, this is something of a set I wanna try. So you have combat, you have stealth jump, you have respawn Punisher, all running quick respawn. You get like huge kills with Luna, of course, like huge KD. But you also get the respawn Punisher effect in, like they have to take longer time to respawn. They take penalty for the special, which is really, of course, it's not significant punishment. I think it's half a second, which is not a lot, but if you can stack it up, like get a bunch of these effects going and make it longer for the enemy team to get the ink armors up and their Tento missiles up, I think it's really strong. And when you look at your own special, it's Baller, which is of course not like something you absolutely need to have. It's nice to have, like, yeah, I get Baller, yeah, that's nice. But if I don't get it, then so what, it's not special that wins games. And of course, if you, yeah, you'd also take longer to respawn yourself, but you have the quick respawn to fall back to. So this is something of a kit I will try when I get the gear for it. And I don't see why it wouldn't work. I don't know if it'll be meta, but it's interesting for me to at least try it. So right now, I'd say Luna is around. It's hard to place. It's not very common weapon in the meta currently, and I think for a good reason. So something I didn't talk about yet, but maybe it's good to talk about it with Luna, is that quick respawn is completely reworked in this game, which is of course like something of a change from Splatoon 1, since Splatoon 1 all the blasters based on a quick respawn gear. But in Splatoon 2, yeah, we do still have a quick respawn. It even has 2 squids now, so people thought it was gonna be even stronger, but as it turns out, that's not the case. Reduces respawn point after getting spatted rapidly without spatting at no opponents. Well, if Luna's going in and constantly gonna be trading, it's not necessarily gonna always work in your favor. So it more works like, okay, you don't get a kill, you went for a high risk play, then it work out. Well, you have quick respawn, you get back fast, so you can keep going these high risk plays till you get the multi-kills you want to get. But it's still like a very big nerf to Luna. So at the moment, I would say Luna's has it niche, like it's good on some stages, but it's like overall not very strong. I'd say it's still like on the bottom half of the weapons. And last we of course have Rapid Blaster, which is has been my main main from the beginning of the game. I have almost 250k on it already. And yeah, there's not much to say about this weapon except that it's probably one of the strongest in the game right now. I'm actually surprised it's not even more popular. And it's definitely up there with 3 Schlosser and shots in the very highest tier. So just to go to practice range again real fast. Of course the base damage is buffed a bit. No damage in Splatoon 2. So you can do this even with no damage. You can kill people direct and floor shot, which was not possible in Splatoon 2. I mean Splatoon 1, sorry. So overall, it's just a so strong weapon right now. Kid is ink mines. You can use them to watch flank. Someone comes around here and they get points in. It's really like a nice thing to have to watch you back on some stages. It's not gonna help you when you push, and that's of course something of a downside. But it's still the actual weapon is so strong. It outranges all the meta weapons people commonly use, and it's very often it's a 2-hit KO on enemies. And if it's a 2-hit KO, then 3-hit KO, still very strong, very fast kill on unaccepted ranges. So that's pretty much the strength of the Rabbit Blaster right now. Special. Oh, I didn't notice this before. It's kind of nice. Anyways, Splat Bomb Launcher. That's something of a nice change from Splatoon 1, because now you have a tool to get some map control. Since Splatoon 1, Rabbit had the bubbler by default, and yeah, bubbler is nice. Bubbler is nice. I'm not gonna deny that. But Splat Bomb Launcher lets you do some map control too. So, you know, I'm not gonna be inking very fast when I do this. Like you can see, like I'm not really inking much. But yeah, I got my Splat Bomb Launcher up. Oh, that's already like a huge opportunity for me to, like when we push, get map control forward, get some enemies killed. I think that's really like strong special and fits the weapon well. So I'm very impressed by this kit and really excited to see what the other range blasters will get, since I think the base weapon is really strong at the moment. And I think that's pretty much it. I would also like to mention something I didn't mention with Luna Blaster is that indeed it does consume twice the ink this time around. So if we go back to Luna Blaster real fast, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and out of ink. That's down from 22 from Splatoon 1, so yeah, of course that's a huge nerf and focuses you to be more like careful about what you do, but I don't think it's too big of an issue. You just have to be a bit smarter. You just can't like do this, like basically I'm the Luna Blaster and just hold this forever. Like no. You have to be more like careful with your aiming and your like movement. So yeah, you can run Ink 7 main, maybe it helps you. Personally, I don't think you need it with combat. The bigger thing is more like this, but when you throw a Splat Bomb, you can only like shoot 3 times and you're out of ink, so that's of course something you have to be really careful about. But yeah, that's about it for my blaster video. If you guys liked it, then leave a like to the video. If you disliked it, then leave a dislike, but at least tell me what I should do differently next time, because I do want to keep doing these videos when I have ideas. And yeah, if you have any questions about blasters, then just go for it and make a comment. I should be the person to answer your questions if you have any. And yeah, I have some ideas for new videos, so hopefully I can keep coming up with them on a regular basis. And yeah, that's pretty much it, and until next time.